According to Lieutenant Yenqing's report, he stumbled upon a few suspicious Foxians at Stargazer Navalia. After following them, he discovered that they were actually Borson in disguise. This is one of the bodies.
Looking at him now, it's hard to imagine how he transformed into a Foxian.
My alchemists detected some complex ingredients in his remains, which might explain how these Borson were able to disguise themselves as Foxians. Simply put, Foxians and Borson share a common ancestry. Although they look completely different now, there isn't much genetic difference between them. This medicine allows Borson to temporarily change their shape into that of Foxians.
So, in other words, if they stop taking the medicine, their true form will soon be revealed?
Indeed. This means that these Borson have a steady supply of the medicine within the Lafu. The disciples of Sanctus Medicus. Looks like the Alchemy Commission is involved once again. When I was sorting through the prescriptions they used, I came across one called Semblance Reversion Essence. It's designed to help those disciples suppress signs of their Mara-struck forms and maintain their normal appearance. When I compared it to the medicine found in the Borson's body...
They're one and the same, aren't they?
The medicinal properties and ingredients may differ, but the principle remains the same.
Since ancient times, the Borson have always sought to have more powerful bodies, regarding the Foxians as weaklings. Yet, in order to save their warhead, they were willing to disguise themselves as Foxians. Their determination is quite remarkable.
If these infiltrators rely on the medicine to maintain their disguise, then following this lead in our investigation seems prudent. Please follow me. Here we are. According to the judge, this area is not yet under control, so we should proceed cautiously. I've captured the nature of the medicine in my sensor. By following the medicinal fumes, we should be able to retrace the steps of the disguised Borson. Incredible strength. The attacker shattered this warden's bones with a single blow.
Such brute strength is not something an ordinary Borson possesses. This is likely the work of Hula.
If I may be so bold to ask, is this Borson truly that formidable?
I have lived a bit longer and engaged in a few more battles than you, Miss Lingsha. To the Alliance, Borson have always been the most formidable adversaries. And Hule is a monster feared even among his own kind. With his strength, Hule united numerous Borson packs, forming a grand army of abominations of abundance. They constantly pushed the Alliance's armies into perilous positions. Over 7 centuries ago, I followed my mentor on a campaign against the abominations, and I personally witnessed the devastation on the battlefield after Hule appeared. Even with medicinal pellets that suppressed the fear caused by his lupitoxin, countless Cloud Knights succumbed to panic in the face of his murderous aura. They couldn't even raise a hand in resistance. If the former sword champion hadn't immobilized Hule with her Frostblade, the outcome of that fateful battle could have been very different. By the end of the battle, only a few of us remained. The crimson moon cast the sheen of blood on all. Everything I saw was painted dark red.
If that's the case, why wasn't the beast executed instead of being imprisoned? On the Xianzhou Jumi, the judges cast those unforgivable and nearly immortal abominations of abundance into the eternal flames of the stars, reducing them to ashes. Their so-called immortality is just a facade. I mean, nothing can truly defy death, can it? I just don't understand why the Lawfu kept this tumor for so long, leading to the terrible situation we're facing now. But I guess I understand. The people of the Lawfu are known for their kindness. Even when faced with the malignant tumor within the Alchemy Commission, they couldn't bring themselves to cut it out. Instead, they exiled the healer, who tried to solve the problem, to the Xianzhou Juming.
I understand if you hold grudges against me, Miss Lingsha. I take the blame for the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. As for why Hule was only in prison, I can shed some light on that too.
I'm just a healer. I'm not familiar with the past. I'd appreciate it if you could enlighten me, General.
All right. Let me tell you more about it as we go.
Bring forth gleeful praise.
Did this Cloud Knight also take the medicine?
No. This is a Borisin in disguise. A guard killed him before he could return to his original form.
All these Borisin are dressed in official attire. Besides the Cloud Knight, there were also 2 Borisin disguised as members of the Skyfaring Commission and the Artisanship Commission. Whoever is providing them with official identities must hold the position of power. Let's search elsewhere.
Someone bit open his arteries and drained almost all of his blood while he was still alive. Such a cruel and ruthless act.
Despite being a long-lived species, Borisin are actually more like predatory beasts that must feed on raw blood and flesh. I've heard that Hule was deprived of food and water in the Shackling prison. It's hard to imagine how he managed to suppress his hunger for over 7 centuries. Will the hostage from the Yaoqing be able to avoid being his meal?
Such is the terrible nature of the abominations of abundance. We subjected him to the Forest of Swords to drain his life force. But in the end, his punishment turned into a test of our patience. Just like you said, Miss Lingsha. Casting a creature that can't be killed into a star would be a way to permanently get rid of it. But unfortunately...
The Foxians didn't agree to that.
Exactly. The atrocities committed by Hule went beyond mere massacres. Throughout numerous wars, we made every effort to eradicate the Borisin. But Hule, with his mysterious sorcery, turned countless Foxians into his pawns. And so the Borisin kept returning. The Foxians curse his name day and night, and they even use it to scare children into staying quiet. How could they grant a swift death to such a great sinner? I wonder if you know why Hule wasn't taken into custody by the Foxian majority Xianzhou Yaoqing, but instead imprisoned in the Xianzhou Luofu, Miss Lingsha.
As you mentioned, your mentor was an exceptional warrior and was the one who defeated Hule, an extraordinary achievement. Therefore, the Marshal placed this feral beast under the jurisdiction of the Xianzhou Luofu as an honor, I assume?
It seems you have a major misunderstanding about this arrangement, Miss Lingsha. Allow me to explain it to you. Yanqing told me that an IPC ship was attacked by Borison. Is this what they were transporting on the ship?
Yes. The Artisanship Commission and Alchemy Commission conducted a joint examination and found that the parts of this machine are made from specially refined Borison biotissue. I heard the Intelligentsia Guild has been researching the biological properties of long-life species, hoping to make medical or combat-related discoveries. However, they haven't dared to cross any lines due to their so-called relationship with the Alliance.
Perhaps to those scholars, Borison are no different from lab animals. Maybe the Borison attacked that ship to retaliate against the Intelligentsia Guild for experimenting on them?
No. If it were only about revenge, they could just wreck the ship and destroy all the cargo, instead of allowing it to end up in the Shackling prison. It was a deliberate display to showcase the dangerous nature of the cargo in broad daylight. This way, the cargo would end up in the Shackling prison, serving as a tool for the prison break.
This skill in exploiting the blind spots of others' mindsets is so atypical of them. I'm afraid the IPC and the Intelligentsia Guild unknowingly became their accomplices.
Watch out! This thing is still alive! Even after suffering such severe attacks?
Their imitation of long-life species has crossed the line.
More season.
May the foul stench dissipate quickly. Time to cleanse the filth.
Destined for oblivion. Again?
If it can still move, it means it wasn't damaged enough.
Data secure. Network.
Let's make sure it never moves again.
I'm honored, but since you're already here, why not have a meal before you leave? I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Allow me to purge the root of the problem.
Free will, or was it on the still waters of oblivion?
You haven't answered my question about why Hule was imprisoned in the Lafu instead of the Yaoqing, General. You've been reserved in your response. Could it be that such an arrangement wasn't an honor?
The reason why the Marshal didn't leave Hule on the Yaoqing lies in the very mech in front of us.
Are you suggesting that there are people trying to understand Hule's secrets and use them for their own purposes? Just like with this mech? Well, I understand. I've heard that the Foxians on the Yaoqing share a bloodline with the Borison. And just like the Borison, some of the Foxians there experience an uncontrollable insanity called moon rage. The Marshal believed that this would be inhumane and no different from what the Borison did, so...
Exactly. While Borison see moon rage as a blessing that unlocks their true potential, Foxians see it as an inevitable curse within their bloodline. Countless healers of the Yaoqing have attempted to unravel this mystery, but to no avail. Why can Borison control the power of moon rage? Can we Foxians break free from this curse? These questions were asked frequently. Each questioner had good intentions. But the road to catastrophe is paved with good intentions. To the Foxians of the Yaoqing, Hule was not only the warhead of the Borison, but also a monster that could be the subject of much research. Hule thus became a poison that corrupted people's minds without their knowing.
That's why the Marshal decided to imprison Hu Lei and the La Fu. It wasn't an honor, but rather a warning.
Because such selfish pursuits in the name of good intentions once led to a tragedy on the La Fu that served as a warning to future generations.
The sedition of Imbibitor Lunae. By imprisoning Hu Lei and the Xianzhou La Fu, the Marshal both suppressed the dangerous intentions of the Yaoqing Foxians and warned the Xianzhou La Fu to refrain from repeating its mistake.
That was a necessary trade-off. The Xianzhou Alliance is not solely about the Xianzhou natives. Only when all three races, Foxian, Videodora, and Xianzhou natives, form an alliance, will there be a promising future for all.
Thank you for enlightening me. Was it for the same reason that you traded off my mentor to the Xianzhou Zhuming, only to stand idle and allow the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus?
You said that I couldn't bear to cut out the malignant tumor within the Alchemy Commission, but instead exiled the healer who tried to solve the problem to the Xianzhou Zhuming. But did your mentor tell you her good intentions led her to perform certain healing arts on Dan Heng, who had just finished his hatching rebirth, so that he would regain the memories of his past life?
What did you just say?
She believed that restoring the High Elder's knowledge of his past life would allow the Videodora to resume their duty as the guardians of the Ambrosial Arbor, quelling the strife within their clan and bringing everything back on the right path. But just as I mentioned earlier, the road to catastrophe is always paved with good intentions. Since then, the 6 charioteers decided that the Alchemy Commission would no longer have a cauldron master. Until your arrival now.
If that's the case, I should thank you for protecting my mentor by exiling her, General.
Quite the contrary. I should be the one thanking you.
Thanking me?
All I ever want is to have a clear conscience. However, can long-life species truly achieve that goal in their long-drawn lives? For example, you were implicated along with your mentor and forced to leave your homeland without knowing the truth. And now, with the complicated situation in the Alchemy Commission, the Alliance has spared me a lot of trouble by sending you to handle this challenging task. Shouldn't I be thanking you instead?
Your eloquence is indeed impressive, the divine foresight. You won't even leave me any excuses to hold a grudge against you. But let me make it clear. The Alliance sent me here to handle the business impartially, not to choose sides.
It doesn't matter which side you choose, Miss Lingsha. At the end of the day, both you and I stand on the side of the Alliance, don't we? Let's keep going.
These Mara-struck soldiers don't appear to be escaped prisoners.
How can you tell?
These soldiers are fully armed. Obviously, they didn't hastily join the battle.
The messenger named Moza did say that there were 2 groups of attackers. The other attackers, aside from the Borison, could hide their tracks. I believe he was referring to these people.
Hide their tracks.
Exactly. I've engaged with these attackers before, and they used Cloud Hymn magic to hide their presence. Without careful observation, no one can detect them.
You once warned me to be cautious of the Videodora Elder's influence within the Alchemy Commission. Could it be?
What's on your mind, Miss Lingsha?
Well, it Seems that someone provided the attackers with a map of the Shackling prison. And considering the Videodara's involvement in the prison's construction, it raises suspicion about their role in this. Additionally, the fact that the Borison need medicine to disguise themselves would suggest that there are still moles within the Alchemy Commission assisting them covertly. Moreover, forging official identities for the undercover Borison would require someone with significant authority. And the presence of assassins capable of using Cloudhim magic deepens my suspicion about the Preceptors. But why would the Videodara collude with the Borison and aid in Hulei's escape?
They aim to spread chaos. They believe that only in chaos can they regain their former power and influence. Since this edition of Imbibe de Lune, the once proud dragon race has been powerless, watching their influence wane. Being a native of the Luofu, Miss Lingsha, I believe you understand the implications.
However, I don't think the Preceptors are the true masterminds. If I'm not mistaken, the one behind all this treachery is the Lord Ravager who exploited the weaknesses within the Luofu and instigated the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, ultimately leading to the Ambrosial Arbor's resurrection. Fentilia.
Please remember, General, that everything I've mentioned is mere speculation. We need concrete evidence for a public trial. If you want to interrogate someone within the Videodara's ranks, you'll need irrefutable proof.
So, what's your plan, Miss Lingsha?
I'll send an invitation to the Preceptors.
An invitation?
The Preceptors have been inviting me for a personal meeting since my arrival on the Luofu. Now, I'll send them the remains of these Mara-struck soldiers and the route map I found in the prisoner's possession. Then, I'll ask them to meet me at Scale Gorge Waterscape. I'd like to hear their explanations.
Good idea. If I were to take action, it might alert the true mastermind. I trust you to handle this matter, Miss Lingsha. The internal affairs of the Videodara should remain under their jurisdiction. And don't worry if things don't go smoothly. Once the wolf hunt operation is over, the hidden truths will come to light.
Speaking of the wolf hunt operation, I'm truly worried about the Yaoqing messenger who was taken hostage. Hulei was starving in the Shackling prison for centuries. I don't know if the messenger can survive in that wolf's clutches. May Rainbow's blessing keep